Easy. Okay, I thought I'd better do the sensible thing after the last video that I put out. This is a good idea for anybody watching this who's got kids, to share it, and anybody that you might know who's got kids, to ram the message home that swimming in open water, when summer comes and the sunshine comes out, people they tend to go swimming in things like reservoirs and sometimes quarry lagoons. More on that later. But after the video I last put out, obviously, I didn't want to give the wrong message that it was a good idea. I did what I did purely for a specific reason. I knew that it was a bad idea. Now, just again to point out that my background is one of a competition swimmer. It's a long time ago. I haven't spent much time in a swimming pool since probably I was about 18, so we're talking a long time ago, but I still haven't lost any of my ability to swim. But the dangers of swimming in open water don't often get specified on. People say, oh, it's dangerous, you shouldn't do it. They don't really give reasons why. So let me try and help you out. So if you swim in open water, A, you don't know what the temperature is. B, you don't know what's down there. C, you don't know what might be in the water, such as algae and things like that can be there. But if you go swimming in something like what I did in order to retrieve my camera, that in the summer, when the sun's beaming down on the water, it can be a very different temperature on the top to what it is just a few feet down. Because the sun, day by day, as it shines, it warms it up. And when you get going a little bit lower, the temperature can be very different. And what happens that if you jump into water, what you shouldn't do is to jump straight in, because if it is very cold, the initial shock can cause all sorts of bad reactions in your body. It can literally suck the breath out of your chest, and you get in and you cannot breathe. It's almost like you're being squeezed. You sort of go, you know what I mean? And the trouble with that is that that can have an effect in various ways. The first thing it can do is if you've got maybe underlying heart problems that you don't know about, that can bring on a heart attack. That can stop your heart. No shit. The other thing that it can do is the imbalance of the normal oxygen level that you take in can have effects in your blood and again to your heart and also to your muscles. Now, I've been told that my heart rate is much lower than normal for an adult human. When I'm in full rest mode, awake but in full rest mode, it tends to hang out around about 55 or 60 beats per minute, and I'm told that that is much lower than normal. They tell me it's a very good sign, by the way. But the issue with the heart when immersing in cold water is not likely to be much of a risk to me for that reason. And obviously, if you take precautions, say if you lower yourself in the water and you consciously control your breathing into a normal speed and normal depth, like overpowering your natural reaction, that straight away can help. And it stops the other issue, which I can suffer from, and that is that I have a slightly dodgy right leg, particularly the calf muscle in my right leg. It's susceptible to cramping without any warning. Now, if you've ever had cramp in your calf muscles, you will know just how agonising that is. And the imbalance of oxygen when you start breathing irrationally can create that. And if you're in cold water and you're trying to swim and your muscles cramp up, you cannot swim. It's literally almost a death sentence if that happens. Now, that's the one thing that I was scared of when I went into that water. So I had to control my breathing beforehand to try and prevent that happening. But kids don't think about this shit. They just think that, open water and we'll get out and have some fun. And as I did in that reservoir, I was very close to the dam all the time. So should tragedy strike, I was able to pull myself out quite quickly. But the point is with all this that even with my background, I would not be happy getting in anything that I can't see the bottom of. Now, I've occasionally swum in pools in rivers, the bottoms of waterfalls and stuff like that, where you can kind of see what's down there. That's not so bad. But when you can't see, it's very, very dangerous indeed. And I wouldn't want to do it. I would be terrified about getting into water where I can't see what's underneath it and I don't know what the temperature is. And that is even with my background. So if I wouldn't do it, you should tell anybody you know not to do it either. Because I will bet my bottom dollar that you watching this now, this is not a boast by the way, but I will bet you that you watching this now, you are not as confident and you are not as good or fast in the water as I am. Okay, so that's a lesson for you to give to your kids. It's an extremely dangerous thing to do and there's all sorts of complications. The other thing is that I've heard cases about people going swimming in quarry lagoons as well, which is even more stupid than getting in things like reservoirs or lakes, because a quarry lagoon is not a lake. A lake is surface water. A reservoir is surface water that's been man-made. A quarry lagoon is water table water. That means that the water in there isn't from the rain, it's what comes up from the water table. And what you get in there is you get often very high pHs, or even up to about 10 sometimes, or even 11. And that's like swimming in a strong alkali solution in bleach almost, which you wouldn't do, would you? And the other thing that you don't tend to realise with a quarry lagoon is if you stood next to it, is that you'll often find that the different colour of them, which you can't see when you stood by them. But I'm going to turn my camera now and I just want to show you this, because here on this Google, this is an aerial Google satellite picture. And you will see a small lake and a quarry lagoon almost right next to each other. The one that you see right here, right there, is a small lake. That's the road running next to it. And this one over here is a quarry lagoon. Now just have a look at that there. And can you see the colour difference on that? That is what you don't see when you stood right next to it. If I zoom in on the quarry lagoon one there, just look at the colour on that. That is toxic minerals in the water that could potentially kill you. And if you accidentally swallow that, you could be dead. So I thought it was the right thing to do, just to point this out to anybody watching my last video, and that I do not recommend doing it under any circumstances. And by the way, it were all for naught, because I didn't find my camera. It was so dark down there that I couldn't even see my hand in front of my face, despite the fact that I had goggles on. But what happened is that what I had to do is I had to feel around in the silt at the bottom, feeling for my camera. And what that just did is it churned up all the silt and it made it even more difficult to see. But eventually, after about 20 minutes, the cold water down below got to me and I had to abandon it just for my own safety. Anyhow, be safe in that water. Don't do it, kids. Thanks for watching. Till next time. Easy.